Hello and welcome back to Bologna for the final of the European Cup. It's time for the lead competition, that enormous prow of a wall at the end of your shot. And the audience have gathered. They're down here on the basement floor and up on the balcony as well. A big crowd here this afternoon to watch the 8 men and 8 women who have made it through to this stage. And what a competition it is, and that is the prow. 24 metres high, but we don't quite go to the top on these routes. About 15 metres up to the final holds and last quick draw. The men's on the left, women's on the right, and the athletes will be climbing at the same time. And we're immediately underway here as our first two walk onto the stage. From Ukraine, Natalia Parova comes on in that pink harness on the right-hand side, and on the left, Lavaro Krep. And Lavaro was in action at the lead FISU Championships in Copper, 11th in lead. He was 41st in Copper for the World Cup, so some World Cup experience going on there. Natalie, 16, pretty young and still coming through this circuit. Zelina in 24 was her last comp, but she came 7th in the lead for the youth. So starting to make her journey towards possibly the senior circuit and World Cups beyond. Those are our athletes, the first two to lead us off and underway. My name is Matt Groom. I'll be calling all the action for you today, and of course we've been doing that over the last couple of days as we moved through speed and into the lead semi-finals that took place this morning. You can go back and watch that for free on the Italian Climbing YouTube channel. Interesting routes ahead. The men's fairly straightforward, a bit of a grind, no real boulder problems in there. The women's is a tricky sequence, though, about midway up. It's going to be interesting to see if the athletes read it correctly. OK, so Lavaro is underway. 2 quick draws in after that run and jump. Pretty straightforward start. Maybe looks a bit scary, but it isn't. Big holds. And after that, you move up and then left on these slopers. And Natalie really having to work hard here and not enjoying that right sloper. Having some issues. She's through now into the undercling. That might have cost her a little bit in confidence. Do say hello if you're watching on YouTube and there's a live chat. You can join, ask me questions. Generally, say hello. No insults, please. Well, nice ones, maybe. Hopefully some of you can say hello on this lovely Sunday autumn day in Bologna. So, Natalie, after that tricky start, is underway now as she disappears around the corner and onto some fairly nasty crimps, although not as bad as some I've seen. They're okay, and she can chalk up on them, as you can see. Lavaro, meanwhile, comes into this awkward hold where your fingers kind of don't quite make the hold any better. You've got to make room. Holds the left, comes out onto the sloper. So far, so good for him. And a clip to come and crimps up ahead. Natalie, meanwhile, chalks up, hips thrust into the wall. That right foot on the blocked crimp. There is a small black blocker in there just to prevent you fully getting your foot onto it. A little bit nasty from the setters. Good to see. Hello, Megan. On YouTube saying hi, Matt. Hello. Lovely that you can join us. Thank you. So, Natalie, horizontal on the wall now. She hasn't looked 100% comfortable yet. Just needs to build herself into this route. There are some pretty good crimps to come, though, on those yellow holds on the angle change. Lavaro means, well, starting to have those elbows come up as he hits the halfway point. Kind of a pinch that he's crimping, and I think that's smart. But that left elbow, he needs to drop down or find something to shake out that left hand and hopefully recover, because that left arm was going creeping towards his ears, those elbows. Natalie will still rest. Hello, Andrea. Saying hello. Is that Andrea? Andre? Not sure. But hello to you. People are beginning to join us. Hope you had a good day, everyone. Maybe you've been out climbing. Real rock, and Lavaro spins and falls down just before he made the next clip. So 25 is his current high point for the men. This route really builds and takes something out of you. There's no specific move that's uber hard, but wow, that thing builds. And Natalie now steps across. Awkward sequence here. She's read it well, though. And this was really fiddly to get the right sequence. An impressive performance from the Czech athlete. Making that clip, left arm nice and straight. She looks up, not About halfway through for her now. You can see the graphic on the right. That will indicate where the athletes are. Natalie chalking up. Just three-finger dragging on that hole, and she matches it as well. A nasty little match this as she heads towards the purple slopers. Ah, and falls coming in with the right hand. There was a possible rest coming up there, but she just burnt out moments before that. Back down to the ground, but a good high point, 32, over halfway for Natalie. Javier Martin, or Marin, sorry, joins us from Chile. Excellent. Are you the most international person watching right now? If anyone's further away from Bologna than Chile, please let me know. I think I might win. What time in the morning is it? Well, there we go. Highlights of the athletes' runs. Next up, from Great Britain, we have James Jenkins. Youth World Champs was his last comp. He was 11th in lead. Boulder as well, also 11th in boulder. Celine Cupers on the right from Belgium. We'll get her comp underway. She medalled way back in the day, but recently 41st in Augsburg. And then only Bologna was her last comp, so not that much comp experience to draw from over the next couple of years. So James Jenkins chalked up and he's climbing well. Celine Cupres coming right to the block hole. This is where Natalie had a long pause, trying to figure it out. Celine a bit more comfortable, it seems, sitting on that heel. The right hand is pretty nasty, though. It looks huge, those, but the blocker makes it actually pretty small. James Jenkins, meanwhile, careful with his feet. He's taking his time through the bottom sequence, which is probably smart. Men's route in semi-finals was a real head-scratcher of a start. Looked easy, climbed hard. Very, very tricky stuff. James Jenkins comes up, thumbs engaged underneath as he locks off that right arm, gets stood up nice and tall. Underclings like that become better when you're in them, compared to when you're underneath them, stretching up above your head. Apparently Natalie, I'm being told on YouTube, who knows if this is correct, but spent time climbing in the UK. And Carol on YouTube thinks there's good things to come from her. I would agree. At 16, we just saw her climb. She was very impressive. So James will rest on this tricky little sequence in the middle. It's all about the feet, really. The handhold's pretty good. And then you come to this bad green sloper on the right, which hasn't got a huge amount of chalk on it yet. Celine, meanwhile, upgrades that right foot, and she'll throw left into a sloper. James Jenkins wiggles that rope in. So if you are just joining us, we are underway at the European Cup in Bologna. 8 athletes getting through to this round, and we've had one climb already. James Jenkins, stretch left, little dance with the feet as he finds a jib. And then he will jump up, forget the feet. Finds that pinch, good move from him. He's nicely in. Celine, meanwhile, has a pretty good knee bar locked in there. That was a good spot from her. I think she got one in the semis as well. The only one to do that, so she's clearly loving the knee bars. Celine now stretches around the corner, spread out on the wall, and it's this next sequence of holes. Natalie waited a long time here. Celine moving quickly through. And James Jenkins really having to lock that right arm in underneath his body. Core tension required as he comes off the crimp, and he might be close to falling here. This is where we lost Lavaro before. Can James get through? Head shaking as he looks down at the crimp. Surely he's got to be off soon. Fighting hard. Look at this. Falls into that crimp. Impressive stuff from James Jenkins. That was full on. Locking off those moves. Okay, Celine, we flick our attention back to her on the right. Yeah, Natalie made this sequence look pretty easily, but Celine struggling back and forth. She goes out left, crosses under. This should be okay if she can get the unwind, which she does. Now she'll have a little moment to rest with 2 hands underneath this undercling. It's not too bad, that, but slopier than it looks. It's not a jug under there. All right, she's out to the sloper. This is where we lost Natalie. Gets that heel on. I think this is smart. Natalie really tried to boost up towards that yellow hold. It doesn't really work. It works better like this. She's got another, trying another knee bar. That's a really awkward. She slides out underneath on that big purple sloper. It's one of the biggest holds on the route, but it's one of the worst. Super nasty. You can see what she's trying to do with that left knee, but I wonder if it just trapped her a little bit. It's by pressing out like she was doing, it's quite hard to find that. Good run from Celine, though. That puts her in first place. Well, 2 done for the men and women. And Luca Malosti will be out next in front of his home crowd from Italy. Noah Sharan for the women from Israel. This was the move. Bumped that right foot in. And this was the knee bar she was trying to get. You can see the thinking. I actually think it would have worked if she'd gone a bit higher, but then kind of takes it away, doesn't it? I think she wanted the knee just to press in to lock off. She couldn't find the grip on that sloper that time. So interesting stuff. So here we are. There is Luca Malosti. I said this in semi-finals, but he gave me a lift this morning from the hotel and really just talked about PlayStation the entire way in. So I can tell you all about his Elden Ring trophy awards, but less about his climbing, because he hasn't been around on the scene for too long. Last comp was here, actually, last year, where he was 12. Got a few injuries, didn't quite make the team, so it's nice to have him back. Noah Sharan, meanwhile, well, World Cup experience, copper. Briançon, Chamonix, Innsbruck, she's done them all. In 24, Boulder and lead. Better in lead, but sort of just outside of the top 20 in terms of World Cup performances, but easily strong enough here to make a finals. And I know she's getting big support from back home as well. Ayala Karem was watching earlier on. Maybe she is still, who knows. Remember, you can say hello on YouTube if you're watching there. There's a chat. Drop me a message. Tell me where you are in the world. What are you up to? Where are you watching this from? There's a few people who'll be training later on. So Noah reaches up, makes that double clip, and now she's into the crimps here, just working those fingers around the blocked black. That's in the very middle of that blue crimper. Luca Malosti, thumbs engaged underneath. He's standing up nice and tall as well. All of the men being fairly slow down low here. It's just awkward. Awkward is the word I use for most of the setting here, in a good way. Just makes them think. Sort of, you don't have to fight super hard, but you do just have to keep your concentration going. Noah Sharan, meanwhile, bumps out left, gets a leg up, and finds the clip as she does. Good climbing from her. This is where we saw the knee bar before from Celine, and Noah gets one in as well. It's not the greatest of knee bar. It's not like you can take your hands off, but it does just take a bit of weight off those arms and shoulders. Federica Messi is watching from Zurich. Nice one. Not too far. Flying into Zurich tomorrow. Come and say hello. I'll be at the airport. Don't actually. That'd be a bit weird if you turn up at the airport trying to find me. I think there'd be quite a few people. Noah Sharan coming around the corner now. This is the hard-to-read sequence. Luca drops down pretty early. Tried to go left and find a pinch. Unlucky stuff. And yeah, frustration from him as he looks down. It's sweaty out there. It's quite chilly in the climbing wall itself, but the holds, and we saw that in semi-final, is pretty sweaty. And slips can happen like that. So we stick with Noah, who's very quickly through here. This is the crux move, trying to wrestle your way around and inside of these giant balls up on the hold. She wants a heel. Oh, that was close. That's a risky way to do it, though. Gets the left hand on the dish, upgrades into the purple. Tries to rock up and matches. This is going to be a high point. And she gets stood up, wrestling her way in, and she'll want to try to wodge a bit of body in here. I did ask the setters whether they could sort of pin themselves between that purple and yellow, and they just said, look, it's so awkward up there because of the overhang and because of the texture. You might be able to, but it's not going to help a lot. I was hoping there'll be a full body jam somewhere on this route, but maybe not. Noah Sharan fighting hard as she comes up to the crimper now. Into a second crimp as well. This is good stuff from her. Into the provisional lead at the moment as she finds the top of the sloper. Crimps to come though, and she's straight away into them, not finding a good place to rest in here. And those elbows are starting to go up on the left-hand side as she changes feet and tries to sit on this big yellow hold. Even more awkward, this move. She'll try to press those hips as close to the wall as possible to take off some of the weight, but slides out of the position. That was good thinking. Oh, we've got lots of people watching now. Maya, watching just outside of Bologna. I am enjoying your climbing gym, Maya. Thank you. I actually climbed in your climbing gym. Had a kilterboard session earlier on. Good fun. Megan 7M said she took part in her first climbing comp yesterday. Nowhere near as strong as those athletes. Yeah, I mean, I have never taken part in a climbing comp for a reason. I have an ego and I'm competitive and I know I get shut down. But fair play to you, Megan. Hope your first comp was a good one. Lovely, thank you guys. Do keep those comments coming. Good to know people are listening, and just fascinating to find about you as well. We talk about the athletes a lot, don't we? Well, highlights from Noah Sharan's run there. This is our audience. They're on multi-levels. There's a that's the isolation zone in the background, that tarpaulin blocking the view with the athletes so they can't check out the routes. And Luca's still looking at that left hand in disappointment. Right, next two to come out onto the mats for the men. Johannes Hofer, 9th in copper recently for the FISU, and 49th in the World Cup for him. He's joined by Rosa Recker, as the MC in copper said. Rosa was 3rd at FISU. Super strong performance from her, and 22nd. And of course a gold medal in her category for the Youth World Champ. So one to watch out for in terms of winning this thing. Almost halfway through now. 3 done. Johannes Hofer takes a deep breath as he runs up to the start of his run. Skills. Aneta Lovchetska, watching from Prague, from Czech Republic. Ice climbing world champ on the live chat. Awesome to have you. You mentioned her earlier on, but she was supporting Czech athletes and a pretty badass human being. Professional polar keeper, just saying. Check out her Instagram. Right, Rosa Recker. Up towards some crimps now, right on the edge of this volume. Finds that nasty pinch on the edge. I'm expecting big things from Rosa here. A lot of people have been talking about Jenny Buckley being the next Janja, but Rosa Recker is one to watch as well on that Slovenian team as she comes through. And just 18 as well, so lots of climbing ahead of her. Johannes gets stood up. It's quite awkward if you're tall, this. A lot of leg to fit in a small box. And he's wrestling that rope through as well. It is pretty awkward, this position, isn't it? Pressing upwards like that, it kind of burns your delts and your shoulders out a bit. And he's struggling with this sequence. That right hand, not the best way to do it. I think you want to cross over with the left. And Rosa swings her legs over as well. So, Johannes, not looking comfortable yet. He finds the green sloper. Interesting, the first few athletes were cruising it down low, and suddenly we get a bit more of a hesitation. Rosa, meanwhile, works her way up into good crimps, but the overhang is savage here. It's one of those walls where if you stand from the back and look at it on TV like this, it looks vertical, but underneath it, you look up, you can't see at the top of the wall. It's pretty overhanging. Okay, Rosa crosses through. Awkward here as she finds and works out the sequence, gets the thumb on. Johannes is through where we lost Luca. So progression from him. Rosa progresses, continues. She's up to the awkward section now. This is where anything can happen, really. It's a wrestle move compared to a climbing move, I'd say, if I had to describe it. Left hand reaching through. Thumb in. No, it spits him off as well. Wow, what a crux. This is low for the men. All three falling in the same place for our top three. We'll keep our eye on Rosa as she gets the big purple. Up Rosa goes, onto the crimp. Now this is where Noah Sharan started to slow things down a little bit. Tried to sit on top of that yellow volume, which I'm not sure is the way, actually. I get the thinking. I try the same thing myself, but we'll see if Rosa does a similar thing. No, she looks for a knee bar, and that does look a little bit better to me. It's not going to take a lot of weight off, but it allows you to chalk. And Noah was trying to sit on top of that yellow thing, which I do totally get. And we've seen that in World Cups, but I think because of how shallow that blob is, for want of a better word, it's hard to do that. Right, up she goes, heel on, into a toe, stood up now. This is first place for her, 41 on the board. Looks right. Oh, big rock out onto a sloper there. And a drop knee. This is looking impressive from Rosa. After me hyping her up, she hasn't let me down. Thank you, Rosa. Out towards the side pull now. She comes around the corner, high up on this wall, nearing the top of the route, but not the top of the wall. Up she goes into this sort of undercling pinch, and this is comfortable stuff from her. But this nasty crimp sequence to come is a hard one. Smart heel, though, to make that clip. And that's the last clip she'll need to worry about before the top here. Right, has she still got some power in her fingers? I don't know if she does. That left arm is uncurling. She reaches up to the blue, the peak pop, and down she goes. But that is a high point that will take some beating on 49. Good work from her. And there we go, Rosa. I said she was one to watch, and she sets our current high point with 4 to go. Halfway through this finals now. Let's see that again. She was very smart with that knee. And then this is what she fell. Left hand up into the pinch. You just need so much lock-off power after all that climbing. You could see she didn't quite have it going the first time. Would have liked to shake out that left hand, couldn't reverse it, and then, yeah, you saw the hand ping. Would have been getting sweaty, couldn't chalk up. And for the men, wow, powerful move. That left pinch, really difficult to unwind from. Feet are low on that. Awkward, but a good route. Good stuff, eh? I'd like to have a go at the boulder wall. I was only on the kilter board earlier on. Looks like some great boulders to be had. Coaches area there. You can see the coaches recording, watching. Right, Arsène Duval comes out from Team France. He's been fighting a right hand. I think it was a pulley injury. Coming back nicely, but if he's got some right hand crimps, he won't be enjoying it. Nika Dubleur from Austria for the women. You can see the leaderboard on the right, Rosa Recker leading the way. James Jenkins as well. Great from him with our high point for the men. So halfway through, what do we think of it so far? Let me know on the YouTube chat. Are we enjoying this? Men's route maybe a bit too hard. I don't know what you think, but 4 athletes to go. I think I prefer the women's compared to the men's, but it's only because there's we've seen a bit more of it, I think. So Arsène kicks that right foot up. He's underway, and as everyone has, just being careful down low. Annika, meanwhile, pulls straight on. She's got to go high, though. A long, long way to go up towards the final crimps for her if she wants to get to the top spot. Arsène comes in, crosses. Good work. A little quicker from him down low as well as he comes up, makes the clip before the press move. Annika, yeah, there's a few faults. She's got smaller hands and she seems to be able to match that blue hold, that sloper, a little easier than the others have done. Got to flick that left hand around the rope as well. And now she does so. We'll make this double clip sequence after the stand-up. And Arsène out. Nothing for the feet here, remember. I thought he was in trouble there, but I think he was just trying to catch that yellow hold. Yeah, 0 feet. And again, it is not a ledge. The angle of the wall pushing him backwards. You have to fully trust the slopers, and then a lot of tension required to rock over right towards the sloper. Outside flag tucked around the corner to make the move up. Good stuff from Arsene, but he's working hard, and you can see it. Remember, we're only 5 clips in. Tricky room for the men. Setters did say they wanted to push the level a little bit, and they've certainly done that. So Annika comes into the purples now. This is where we've seen a couple of knee bar variants as the athletes work their way through up towards the yellow crimps. Casual stuff from her so far, looking good. By the way, we haven't got a clock on screen, but I will keep an eye on the clock if the athletes start to run out of time, but I'm not expecting that to happen. Arsene a bit wild out with that left foot. Big move up, and he's approaching high points now. We've seen 1, 2, and 3 all fall around the next sequence. Arsene will make the clip first. And Annika crosses under and through. Awkward stuff, but well read from her. She's very low right now, needs to upgrade those feet a little bit. Arsene edging his way towards the high point. This should be it if he can make a couple more moves. Hits the underclink, wrestles his way under. That score isn't quite catching up with it. I think he's in the top spot now. Left leg flex, there we go, 26 awarded. Annika as well has found her way into this underclink. Arsene up, holds the swing. He's still got some power in the tank, but he hasn't made the bottom clip. And it's now a long way beneath him, but clever use of the foot there to bring that quick draw up. Got some questions coming from YouTube. I'll try to get back to those in a sec. Annika finding that arm, slapping left into the sloper. Oh, and fighting with the rope. I don't think she was short rope. No, she wasn't. Look at the B there. There's lots of slack in the system. She just had it kind of trapped up towards the blob. Comes down. Oh, that was a good save. Trying to arm bar in there. Arsene is still going on 28. He's about to enter the purple section here. Powerful stuff from him. Annika in full wrestle mode as she hugs the blob. Gets in the clip. This is where we found a good knee bar, and she's got one as well. Arsene finally slips down. What happened there? Yeah. Just sort of fell out of the wall. But he's well out in front at the moment for the men. Annika outright. Slopers to come. Hits the double sloper. She's edging closer as well as she moves into second. Rosa Recker score under threat now as she comes out to the volume. Still looking like she's got power, but that was very, very low on that blocked underclink. You've got to flick your hands there as well, and a bit of a snatch here. So maybe struggling for the first time, as you'd expect this far into the route. Big move out. Can't pinch it, can crimp it, drags, falls. And just below the high point for her. Good performance. Right, let's answer some of these questions. Megan's asking, Matt, can you explain the EU Cups? Who qualifies and how and who organises, etc.? Megan, I'd love to. I honestly don't know too much about the European Cups. They're obviously throughout Europe, various different locations. I do know that much. Yeah, I've done 2 this year. This one and then one in Innsbruck for speed. Generally, it tends to be younger athletes coming through. It's the federations who decide which athletes go to that. And it's hard enough just to get selected for a squad, but it's kind of a feeder system into the World Cups. Especially if you're a young up-and-comer. If you can prove yourself on the European circuit and make a good name for yourself, selectors might bring you to World Cups. But we do have World Cup athletes here as well, so it can be a place to regain confidence. And in terms of who organises it, similar kind of system to the IFSC. It'll be federations pitching for them. And very nicely, for whatever reason, Italy likes me speaking, so I get invited to this one. I was here last year, and I really, really enjoy it, to be honest. I've had a lot of fun, mainly because I can kind of say what I want. I can get away with murder. Next question was from Jonathan, who's saying, thumbnail in Italian, was shocked to hear Matt commentating. Yeah, well, I am. Apologies if you wanted Italian. My Italian is not good. It's very bad, to be honest. So I don't really want to be doing the Italian thing, so you're going to have to put up with English, but hopefully it'll be all right. OK, next 2 out. Felix Madder on the left-hand side. He was 34th in Copper. Apart from that, lots of junior performances. He won a European Youth Comp, though, back in 24. Well, back in 24, I'm talking about this year. And on the right, a lady I'm very impressed with, Joanna Neem, underway. Her first European semi-finals earlier on, now her first finals. Came out first in semi-finals, and I thought, oh, my goodness, they've undercooked the route. Nope. Turns out Joanna was just on form. Absolutely crushed it. Sort of a long shot to get on the podium here, I'd say. One of the favourites suddenly, climbing in the top 3. Lady I've known for quite a long time, actually, through various works. And yeah, really nice on camera, very personable, and rooting for her here as she comes into the undercling. Felix, meanwhile, pretty quick down at the bottom. Not that tentativeness that we've seen from some of the other athletes. Joanna resting on that straight left arm. She's looking very good at the moment. You know, when an athlete sometimes, please don't blow it now. I'm saying this, Joanna, but yeah, she's looking good. There's something, you know, when you see an athlete start to peak and perform, she's at that stage. And this is an example. We're chatting about the European Cup and why it's here. Well, this is exactly it. You know, Joanna's been playing around World Cup. She's 25 now, so not the youngest out there, but someone who maybe just needs to build some experience back towards World Cups. And this is a good place to start. You know, you're against great athletes. The setters are all World Cup IFSC setters. It's a proper comp. It's great, honestly. These European Cups are brilliant. Okay, Felix has the heel in on that low slope. And next hold, you can see how much chalk's put on it. There's an awkward... Oh, no! What happened there? Big foot pop or something. He was just chalking up and chilling, about to go left, and that's a fall from him. Well, Felix, the earliest fall so far, that leaves him in 6th. No idea. I'll have to see a replay of what went, but a foot popped last minute. Joe Neem on the right. Well, oh, let's see a replay quickly here. So he was resting. That was good. Where did it go? Interesting. I think he was trying to find a foothold. Well, it wasn't really a foothold. And the right foot blew because the left wasn't on anything. Interesting. Wow. One of those things. Felix shaking his head as he leaves. Well, so Joanna. Can we just call her Joe? I swear I've called her Joe before. It's just Joe Neem, isn't it? I'm going to go with Joe. Joe underneath. Kicks those feet out into the underclings. Yeah, teammates are shouting Joe. We're going to go with Joe. Joe on the grips. The Matt consensus wins out on that one. See, this is why I enjoy these comps. Okay. Don't give myself the giggles. Joe resting with that right arm, looking very comfortable here, but let's see how restless she's feeling. She's got some tricky moves to come as she comes out with the left hand on that sloper. Up she goes, onto the yellows. Big swing, though. That was not the right way through that, and she knows it the second she fell. I think committing that much skin to a terrible slopey hold. Disappointment. Well, she's down in 5th with that one, but as I said, first semis, first finals, and that was great work. The lizard on her back. Love that tattoo. It's a good one for a climber. What's the best climbing tattoo? I know a certain climber who's got a wombat on her. Which isn't a very climby animal, but I think a lizard is a fully climby animal, isn't it? What have I got? I haven't got many climby animals either. I've got sharks. I've got a dragon. Come on, chat. What's the most climbery animal that you could possibly tattoo on yourself? There's some obvious ones, aren't there? Well, 2 to go then, and some big names to follow. Wait for Darius Rapper from Romania. He'll be out. And Ina Plasu from France. Sub-20th in Copper, 19th. In European Champ, she was 14th in lead. One who could really win this thing. And Darius Rapper, big man. He was sitting next to me in the commentary box having a little interview. And absolutely enormous, which I know doesn't make any difference. As a small human being myself, I was surprised. He's a beast. Muscles his way through sequences. So, and Ina, just so experienced, part of this French team. And for her as well, this will just be another opportunity to just show the selectors what you're made of. And you go back and watch the semis if you can and see some of the interviews, because that's exactly what the athletes were talking about. The fact that it's a good opportunity to show them especially for teams like Italy and France, where they have many, many stars. You have to do a lot to stand out, and if you can win some European Cups along the way, that would be a good start. Right, Darius, nice and smooth, but we've seen an early fall on the men's route. It's a concentration thing, I think, as well. He's very fast through here. Inner, meanwhile, is up onto the wall, crosses through with that rope. Got to kind of flick the left hand out and away, which she does now. Not too difficult. It's got to have a bit of rope management skills. I can't believe no one has responded about the tattoos, by the way, chat. Come on. Has anyone got an animal that's particularly climbery? Or does Joe Neem's lizard just win? So Darius out towards the right-hand side, looking chill here, but this is nearing that tricky little sequence where we saw a fall. Inner bumps out left. So this is beginning where Felix had his moment. He had that right hand, he tried to find a left foot where there was no left foot on the bottom of the volume. Darius sits on that left foot. It's a bit awkward, you don't want to knock your own foot off here as he gets in a heel, and then he will progress, looking good. Inner, meanwhile, pauses for a moment, launches up towards the crimps. Horizontal on the wall, she comes around the corner, trying to find the sequence. Missed it the first time, found it the second. Darius didn't like the look of that pinch, did he? He wants to turn it into a crimp, which he now does, locks that off. So Darius with a big, big drop knee. In a placeau through the crimps. Wrestling time, we've seen so many different and wrong versions coming through. Oh no, it's another foot stop. Oh, Darius down and out with that one. Throws his shoe away in disgust. He did not like that. He just gestured over to me saying, yeah, that right foot let him down on that one. Let's have another look here. Twisting around. Let's see. Oh, it was the no-tex. Stood on the wrong bit. There is some friction there. Just got it wrong. Now, Ina is in, this is the resting position I kind of envisaged. If that makes sense. This position. There is the current top three. Thank you, team. Great camera work and graphics, by the way. Really impressed. Rosa Recker leading the way with 49 plus. That's high on this wall. You can see our top three. Ina would like to go in. She's in fourth at the moment. Comes up to the sloper. Crimps ahead of her. Needs to do a bit of work before she'll knock Noah Sharan off the podium. Megan has suggested a raccoon as a tattoo. I like it. I didn't consider a raccoon as a climbing animal, but I'm down. The black and white would look good, wouldn't it? Inner makes the clip up towards the slopers. And stands with big splits on the wall as she finds the crimpy side pull here. And resting, doing very well, as I'd expect from Inner. She's got all of that experience to pull on. This could be a World Cup right now, and she has the opportunity to do something big here. Couple of moves to go before the high point, and she's looking powerful at the moment. Stands up tall, though. This is a hard sequence. Hits the right hand well. Little adjustment. Here we go. Business end time. 47. Very close to the top. Hits the pinch, and she's got the thumb engage, which not many others have managed to do. Hasn't got the clip yet, though, which I think might be a bit of a problem. I think she's going for points here. Oh, left. Steps over. I think that's the high point. Yes, it is. So she moves into the lead in a placeau with one to go. Looks down, checks the time. We're all good for that. Now she's resting on these crimps as well. That's impressive stuff. Just 3 or 4 moves to go here before we could see a top. Using her time well. She checked it a few times. Up she comes now, locking off that crimp. She's back underway. Final push towards the top. No more quick draws. A big move, though, and a slap. She's got it. One jump to go then, sets the feet on that crimp, got to trust it, throw for it, yes, she can hold it. Got to make the clip though to count, and that is our first top of the day, in fact. Inna gets it done, yes, smart thinking indeed, that was well done. The way she just took some of the pace off, slowed it down. Awesome job there from Inna. Tattoo update, by the way. Jonathan suggesting sloths, monkeys, rats, snakes are great climbers. True. Sloth, I think, is a bit too slow, eh? I think. You'd have to lock everything off. Alessandro has a frog. Ready to jump for a good dino. I like that. It's a good one. Well, this was the top. This was Inna jumping up. And yeah, you could see immediately tapping her hair. That was a well thought through climb. At no point did she get flustered. Figured it out, rested where she needed to. And it was resting on those top crimps that was wise. The temptation is just to push forward. She didn't, took her time, and look at that, a top, a 54, and that's going to take some beating. And only one athlete to go as well. But it is a good one. In fact, two good ones to come. Solid World Cup competitors through and through. All right. So here we go, with her war paint on, literally, that liquid chalk on her cheek, which is becoming her trademark. Eloise Dumont from Belgium is out and about, 20th in copper. But it was the European champs where she impressed, 11th, and a strong performance from her, just missing out on finals in lead. Guillermo on the left, this man is an up-and-comer for sure, and there's something about him. I was talking to one of the chief setter here about this. We both agreed he has this calmness about him. It's the only way to describe it, really. You can just tell that he's got more in the tank to give. Doesn't get hassled. Looked great in semi-final. I was impressed with him, to be honest. Really impressed. He'd be my favourite. If I was putting some money on this, he would be where my money would be placed. Eloise as well. I've seen her make a couple of mistakes along the way occasionally. But considering her World Cup record, which is really impressive, sub-20s all the time, Brigance on 11th, Chamonix 16th, Innsbruck 14th, you know, she should really take this. Won her last European Cup in Augsburg. So hers to lose at this point, but a lot of climbing ahead, of course, and has to top the route. And she tops the route, due to count back, she will take victory. Guillermo doesn't need to go as high. We can see the graphic on the left displaying it, ¡1 spot, which is this all James Jenkins? I'll have a little look. Remember the I4C app, free to download. Wonderful resource tool. Let me have a little check for you, so you don't have to. Yes. Oh, no. I'm on speed. Yeah, Arsène Duval. Sorry, yeah. Took over James Jenkins by quite a way. I've forgotten what I've been watching. It happens. I'm getting old. Eloise moves forward now, makes those clips. This is fast climbing from Guillermo. You see what I mean about that calmness? He just has a sort of an inner cadence that slows him down, just allows him to focus in, it seems. Cuts loose on the pinch, and we've seen athletes struggle just to get to that hold. He doesn't. Swinging around on it. Eloise with that little knee in there, pressing it in. Crowd watching on, bit of encouragement, but everyone's super focused on this. They know these two are the favourites on paper. Can the favourites take victory? Eloise, easy through. Look at this from Guillermo, cutting loose. I'm not sure that was the smartest thing to do, but it certainly got it done quick. Great crimp strength from him as he tries to get an awkward foot in and then falls into that side pull. Great work from him, approaching Arsene's high point. Eloise trusses the dish with the left hand. The better way to do this, safer than we saw Jo Neem do where she launched left. So, about 3.5 minutes to go for both athletes here. Guillermo has the heel in. You've got to say he's looking like he can't be beaten here. No issues so far unless he has a slip. There it is, the top spot. So Guillermo moves into the lead here. Eloise, meanwhile, has work to do before she can claim the top spot. Look at this from Guillermo. Are we going to see a top? A lot of climbing to go on the men's. It doesn't matter for the score, but I'd like to see one. I haven't seen a man on top of route in a long time. Out he goes. Has a high toe hook. First time it looks like he's struggling. Eloise, meanwhile, gets that clip. Little flick out of the hands as she brings the feet through. Up she goes. Oh, Guillermo somehow holds it still. I can't believe that. Looked like he'd gone. Now he is. A couple more moves. And much higher than anyone else. Guillermo takes the victory with ease here in Bologna. Fantastic performance from him. Eloise is nearing the final sequence of moves as well. This is where Ina had a very clever rest. She's up to the crimps well. And I think they're pretty in-cut up there, you know. Blocked, of course, above, so you do have to sort of lock your fingers into position, which is tiring. But it does allow you just to do this, shake out a bit, which is good because powerful moves to come, kicking you backwards on that overhang. As our camera pans round to take on the wall, it is a beast of a structure, this. The 24 levels gym in Bologna, well worth visiting. Eloise gets herself set. Oh no, she slides down. She was just a bit casual on it. We saw the pop from Ina. She didn't have the same pop and slides down, and yeah, she just was a bit low. So no victory for her. I think that's second place. Yes, it is. So strong work from her, but not quite enough. Just needed a bit more ping up with that right hand. Oh, she's disappointed, but she will get the silver medal. And with that, the comp is done. But podium and interviews to go, so don't go anywhere. We'll be chatting. I'll be chatting to Eloise and Guillermo in a minute. We'll get the cameras set up and watching here the replays. Guillermo never really looked in doubt, to be honest. Super controlled all the way up. Fell at the top, but I really don't expect many tops from the men's route anymore. Setters are on some kind of a brutal... I don't know what it is. I was about to say power trip, but you know what I mean. That's the wrong word. Well, did we enjoy that chat? I did. There's Luca chatting through with the coaches exactly what happened. His first comp in a long time back, and good to see him. We were watching the Formula One together earlier. Sporting different people, I'll be honest. He was more Leclerc. I was gunning for Norris, but you know. Differences bring us together. In life and in Formula One. Well, what a comp here. Thank you to everyone for having us. But don't worry, we're not going anywhere. We'll have some replays coming up later on, and podium, of course, and our interviews. Well, let's show one of our sponsors' videos here while we're waiting. I'll go find some of our interviewees, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Amore, amore,
1, 2, 3. Yep. Okay, there we go. So Ina, sorry about that, we had no sound. Congratulations on that victory. You were tapping your head at the top of the route. It was smart climbing from you. You rested really well, but what were you thinking?
Yeah, it's the last comp of the season. It's a little difficult to go in Villa and after in Copper, and now it's Bologna. And my first one in the comp, it's so bad. And after it's just mental for just climb. Yes, and this year I very work this in the final of the route and calm, and yes, it's for the victory today.
You could see how calm you were. It was really good. Tell us, why do you do these European Cups? Because you do World Cups and then you come here and you absolutely crush. But it's a really good atmosphere at these competitions, isn't it? And I suppose good experience as well.
Yes, it's very good experience. And in youth categories, I'm not in the French team. And for me, experience is very important. And going comp is the best training for the future. And yes, it's for this I go in all European Cup, and all if I have the selection, I go. And it's so good for training and for the future, but yes.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. We're standing in front of the podium. You're going to be up there in a minute.
Ever in I don't go in the first place in the French Cup or in French Championship. This is my first victory.
Well, enjoy that gold medal. Hope you can have a drink later on and celebrate. Thank you so much. Right, I'm going to try to find our male winner who's back there, so I'll be a couple of minutes. Congratulations, what a victory. It never really looked in doubt. You were climbing really well, very confidently. Did it feel like that up on the wall, or were you struggling more than it looked?
Yeah, the route was a little bit weird with weird moves. I think really long, many moves, and yeah, I like it a lot. I enjoy it.
It was great watching you climb, and obviously we know how good you are, let's be honest by now. What's next for you in terms of the season? Are you going to Prague and Seoul?
I'm going in Prague, not Seoul. Finally, the European Championship, the Youth Championship, and it was a very long season. So I think it's the time to make a good finish and rest and
maybe go rock climbing for once.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of rock climbing and enjoy.
Awesome. Well, look, enjoy this victory. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'll see you soon. Well done.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, while we wait for our podium to be put together, let's have a look at some replays, shall we, of the action that we've just seen. It was a good round from everyone. Strong performances, but I think on the night, this lady started things off, Natalie. She's super young, just 16, and with a big future ahead of her. It's nice to see her fighting hard on the wall. Read this sequence well. Midway through. And it was impressive stuff from her, for one so young, to come in, but this big throw We saw Jo doing it in a similar way. Didn't work for her. Celine Cuprez, she was one of the first to get a knee engaged. She got a knee in semi-finals as well. A little better through here. Tried another knee. It wasn't going to work this time, and a bit awkward, and not quite in the correct position, and that sent her down. And then for the men, well, he had the high point for a long time. James Jenkins launched his way and shaking hard as he powered through. This drop-down move proved a little too far, but it did leave him on the top spot for a long time here. As he came down. We haven't seen him in a comp for a bit. Look at Melosti. Strong. Made a mistake, though, and that cost him really dear. Or something happened anyway. The left hand let him down. In with the toes. Not the best feet, actually. And, yeah, sliding down that pinch. I think he was a bit low on it. Noah Sharan, meanwhile, was impressive. Locks in the knee well. Taking a lot of pressure off those arms. And tried to sit eventually on that blob. Wasn't really going to work. Down she came. Rosa Recca, super impressive. One of the two I think I had circled in terms of winning this comp, and she proved that trust, what am I talking about? But that she proved me right anyway. Really strong performance coming high up the route. Climbing midway through this competition. Good work, but struggled coming up with that right hand. Wanted to make an adjustment and shake out, couldn't do it. And a big reach up, grimacing, screaming as he came through onto that pinch. But down he came as well. That was tricky as well. And for Austria, Annika Dubler had to make some adjustments. Didn't look 100% comfortable. This big kick out towards the left was a long way for her. Arsène Duval reached up high onto the pinches, brought that left right foot through. Oh, tricky as he made the clip. Stretching high above his head, and it was a really strong one from him. Did everything he possibly could. Sliding down with that right foot, though. Didn't like that no-tech, says you wouldn't. Had to trust it. And here is Jo Neem, so good in the semi-final, but final wasn't quite the same. This was the move she found difficult. Unwound well through that sequence, but did a big throw onto the yellow sloper here. That wasn't going to be the way. Maybe if you were fresh, you could get away with it, but that stretched out. All that barn door swing, couldn't hold it. Down she came. Well, I interviewed her just now. Inna, very impressive. Her first ever victory, which is so cool. Climbing next to her was Darius Rapper, who did have a slip eventually. Watch his right foot here. Ping, off it goes down to the ground. And he was gesturing at me, actually, saying, oh, because I was complimenting him earlier. So not his night, but it was Inna's night. She was great down low. Really impressive stuff out towards the pinches. And had this sequence. This is the ideal resting position. Hanging off. Up she came into the clips. And up towards the crimps as well. They're blocked by that big blue one, but they were enough to have a good rest. And she told me in the interview she's calmed herself down. The only one to find a top here this evening. And an impressive gold for Inna. At this stage in the comp, though, we didn't know she'd won, of course. We had one more to go. Eloise Dumont was coming out last. There she is, war paint on her face from that liquid chalk, which is becoming her trademark. And on her left was Guillermo, who was the men's winner. Eloise was good. got to this final crimpy sequence, but this is the move that just needed a bit more go, a bit more pop. She was low on it, as you can see, kind of slid off with the right hand as well and couldn't readjust and find that sequence. Tricky stuff. Guillermo, well, he looked confident, calm throughout his run. Never really in doubt, to be honest. He was the favourite on paper, and it turned out to be the favourite in reality as well. Great stuff from him. Left leg kicking back. Near the top. Couldn't put it all together on the night, but easily enough to take the win. About 5 or so holes ahead of everyone else who fell down low on the green. So that was the story of our finals, and what a great finals it was. The podium has been built. We're waiting for our athletes, and we will give away the overall as well for lead for 2024 for the European Cup. I'm not entirely sure who's won it, to be honest, but I'm sure we can figure it out between ourselves. So in a couple of minutes, we'll return for that, and our medals will be given away. So our athletes are being called out. James Jenkins in 3rd place, bronze medal for him. Strong performance from the Great Britain athlete. Arsène Duval, that was strong from him. He was way out in front for a while, but got beaten on the night. I think the strongest climber. And here he is, Guillermo. He's given a round of applause as he approaches, and he'll stand in the middle on the #1 spot and receive that gold medal. So bronze medal on. Also, I love the trophies. They've got like miniature holds. The speed guys had miniature speed holds, which I kind of want one. Put it on my keychain. Arsène Duval will take 2nd place. Silver medal for him. And finally, Guillermo takes victory. He looked great on the night. The one to beat, and he couldn't be beaten here this evening. Way above everyone else, and a gold medal to take onto his next couple of World Cups. National anthem time. Well, there we go. The athletes will gather at the top and celebrate with our photographers. It's got very quiet in here. Well, there we go. Men's comp done and dusted. We will have the overall in a couple of minutes. I think we're doing the women's first, though. Yes, we're doing women's first. So the athletes have been called down to the front of this climbing gym. As they approach, Ina in the middle, Rosa and Eloise, who's still looking up at the top of that wall, which is so close. Rosa Recca then stands on the top spot, but she doesn't. Third place for Rosa Recca, bronze medal for her. Is that chocolate? Looks like chocolate. Silver to Eloise. She came so close, just one move away from the top and victory, but victory tonight goes to Ina.
And the gold medal representing France for
Ina Plassou stands up on the top spot. She fought her way through that route. It was a strong performance and her first gold medal. Absolutely awesome from her. Team France and someone else to watch. Well, there we go. The final notes ring out across the stadium. Congratulations to Ina and the other women and everyone who took part over the last couple of days. It has been another wonderful European Cup here in Bologna at the 24 Levels gym. Well, the overall is going to come in a minute, and I'm going to leave you here and let our MC talk through so you can hear all of the winners from the overall competition. My name is Matt Groom. It's been a pleasure calling all the action. I'll be back soon for World Cup duties in Prague and then Seoul for our final two of the year. I'll see you then. Thank you for watching, everyone, and stick with us for these podiums as we celebrate the overall winners for 2024 in the European Cup.
somebody from France. Dobro is here. Somebody, okay. At the third place, representing France, Max, awarded by Hernandez. call here again behind the podium Rosa Lecar, Ina Plaslubiga, Eloisa Dumont. Third, representing Slovenia, Rosa Lecar, at second, silver medal, representing France, Ina Plaslubiga, awarded by Marco Mazzolari. At the first gold medal, representing Belgium, Eloise Dumont, awarded by Gabriela Cristetta. Many thanks to everybody and see you, we hope, next competition.